All right, well, let's move along to our main billing for this evening. So our speaker for tonight it's me. So, so we don't have a guest along. The guest is actually me. And tonight I am going to be talking about the small business guide to a digital transformation. So as there's no one here to introduce me, how about I introduce myself? And I'll give you a wee bit of background on me too. So you may not know some of this as well, how I got into this online space. Basically, I've been online since let me think, since about 1979. So the internet did exist back then. For those that will remember it, it was called CompuServe. They were little bulletin boards. Yep. So there's a few people that like John or some around here that remember that. And I've been curious about tech ever since that time. I got my first laptop, can you believe, in 1980. So they had laptops in 1980. It was a little Korean machine called a Sunrace, and it was, I think those days I had a blue screen. It was Microsoft. It was a blue screen with white text, and that was my word processor. So, I'm way back then. So, so I've been interested in online stuff ever since then. I ran a business. I had a mortgage broking business, which I set up in 78 when I was made redundant. So there's lots of change there. Mortgage broking I knew nothing about. So what better business to go into is something you know nothing about, because you don't go in with all of the preconceptions and sort of bad habits that usually bankers go in with. So, so I built that business. I built the first website back in, was that 2001? When was 9/11? I think it was 2001. And that was when I built my first website. I bought a platform, which cost me $5,000 at a rah-rah seminar that I went to with some American dudes that came out selling their platform. And when I bought it, I found out that I also needed to know how to code with HTML and CSS. And that was a foreign language to me at the time. So I very quickly learned that, built my website, and ran that business really on online marketing principles from that basis there. So we ran seminars and webinars, and we had our website was quite different to all the banks in that we were dealing with trying to make something that was relevant to homeowners that were interested in their life and their lifestyle, not necessarily in interest rates and what the Reserve Bank happened to be doing and all those charts and graphs. So I grew that business from nothing to when I left that, was in the Mortgage Broker of the Year Awards and won the runner-up Mortgage Broker of the Year with that. And again, we built that all on with online strategies. Came to Australia, sold that business, came to Australia and set up an affiliate marketing business. Anyone knows anything about affiliate market thinks that is the easiest road to riches. I can tell you that it was definitely the hardest road I've ever hoed to emptying my bank account. So, but through all that, there's a lot of learning that came through that, which helped me to develop an online business, which is creating websites and developing websites. I discovered WordPress, and that was the best ever tool I've ever found. And that was what my business was built on. So why am I talking about a digital transformation? So, and really, what is it? So the reason why I'm talking about it is that I've been involved in a digital transformation, actually since about 79. That was the first computer I ever operated on, which is a little Sinclair ZX86. And anyone that remembers Amstrad computers and the old Commodore computers, the gaming machines, I was around with all of those. And the first IBM machine that came in for small business, for small businesses, which was in 1980, must be 1985, I think it was. No, it must have been 1983. Yeah. So 1984. Yeah, I remember I was still working at that stage before I went to university. So, so obviously the evolution of that is massive to the point that we've got these devices here, phones, which have way more memory than the first IBM desktop that came out. But what's been happening recently? So there've been some massive changes recently, which have really impacted the way people do business. And, we all know these changes being lockdowns and this virus, ripping through the globe. Governments are making sort of changes in our economy to close down businesses, get people at home. All of that sort of stuff's happening. So that just happens to be the environment that we live in. So for some, that is now starting to force upon them a digital transformation. So really, if we think about it, what is digital business? Let's have a look. Just open up your mics or into chat. Tell us what digital business is. Seems easy, but let's just hear it. Thomas, yep.
I believe that digital business is basically taking what you've been doing in like normal life and changing the atmosphere and actually just going all online. Basically putting your services out there and basically not being out in the, so we usually, I used to go around and go to businesses and offering my services now. Now we're in a technology way where we can sit behind our computers right here and do our meetings one after another. So I believe that the digital world is basically be able to get out, get online and be able to get yourself not just in Australia, but all around the world. So basically everything.
Absolutely. So you can go global. What's been the biggest impact with a digital, with the change to being online and digital? And Thomas just touched on it. It's one major impact.
Oh, it's not.
Whoop, who was that? There was a woman's voice. Who was that?
Yeah, it was Cynthia.
Cynthia, hello.
Yeah, hello. I was just about to say that couple of points. One, it can be isolating to the community because people that can't access it.
Yep. And
two, the lack of accessibility.
Okay, so acceptability. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so that's definitely in terms of the current environment where we may not necessarily choose to have a digital lifestyle, but we've been encouraged or forced into a digital lifestyle. So yes. What else is the biggest impact digitally? Yeah, John.
Yeah, hi. I sort of believe that the biggest impact is desocialization.
Okay. Yep.
In that, I mean, we all talk here on the thing every once or twice a week. Some of us do it 10, 20 times a week, but we never actually physically meet somebody.
Yep. And isn't it quite different to meet someone in person than it is just sort of on a square screen like this or a rectangular screen?
Well, look at you and I the other week. I ran into you there and you went, oh, it's you.
That's right. Yep.
You know, so and a digital business, the whole idea of digital business is it's technology and you're going to use it to create new value in business models. If you can create new value with what you've already got, you're expanding your dollars for the same amount of product.
So that is absolutely critical. That's your value. So you've got some different ways of adding value and creating value. And out of that, there are different products that come out as well too.
And then on top of that, you also then build up your customer experiences. And if your customer experiences are enhanced by the digital, they'll come back to you. And that gives you more internal capabilities to sort of increase your core operations on everything.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And you got to look at the fact that you don't just have digital, but you've also got traditional brands. You've still got your offline stuff, if you like. Like Jane still has to put the stuff together, for example, to sell her artwork.
Yep. Even
though she does it digitally. So it's a combination of two. You still can't sort of say, unless you're a broker, I have to make something. There are some industries where you don't make anything but make a lot of money. I mean, look at crypto.
Yep.
Yep.
So digital transformation isn't necessarily not having a physical business or physical products or whatever, but it's about how you market, do it, systems, processes, take it to market, how people interact with you, that type of thing there. Now, one of the biggest impacts that it has, that there's two sides to this equation. A lot of us have been forced into a digital economy. Others have chosen to be in a digital economy, and we'll talk about some of those as well too. I'd like us to think about the choice of it. And choosing to go online and choosing to be digital. There's a lot more power in that there, and we'll show you how to do some of that. One of the biggest impacts is it can save you a lot of time. So if you are someone that your business is about meeting people, then you've got all of that travel time as well. So if you're someone that travels, hop in your car, travel, you have a meeting, travel back home, travel to the next meeting. And I know that when I was traveling, you could spend 3, 4 or 4.5 hours of the day traveling for the meeting. So it's like half of your productive time is traveling. So if you're online, that time there, you could potentially use for meeting people. So back to back. So you could double your productivity. I probably wouldn't recommend it because you'll be absolutely exhausted by the end of the day. Sometimes you do need the break, but that is the potential with it, is that you can increase your productivity. The other thing too is with the time, you get your time back to then spend on other activities that might be important to you. So it might be just R&R or just resting, recuperating, relaxing, that sort of thing there as well too. All right. So what about global? You can go global. Absolutely. And we'll talk about a couple of case studies today too about how a local business accidentally went global. So it does give you some more options. How many people here, just by show of hands, are in a service-based business? Don't have a product, you're delivering service. Okay, just so I can see a show of hands on screen. Okay. How many are product-based? So selling physical products. Yeah, you're part and part, Jane. Yep. Okay. So if you're in a service-based industry, when I say service as well, I'm just looking at Michael here as well. You're a service-based business, but you physically have to be out on premises to do what you're doing. So that's sort of like a trades service. So I guess you've got services you can deliver online. You've got trade services where you've physically got to turn up, and you've got those that are selling products as well. But all of those can be digital, so there is a digital aspect to all of them. So I'm going to ask you a question. If I just pull up my screen, if I can find it, here we go. I'm going to swap screens over here. All right, so on screen there, we have a picture of a laptop on fire. I'll ask you this question here. If this was your laptop, how would that affect your business?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Big time.
Big time? Yep. So we've got a range there of big time and not at all. So a challenge that I've got for you here is to think about worst case scenario. If you lost your laptop, you dropped it in the drink, it caught fire, someone stole it. How are you sort of able to continue your business within less than 60 minutes?
That's what
I've got a good friend of mine, and he regularly wipes his computer clean, formats it back to factory settings, and his challenge is to get back online within 60 minutes, as if nothing's changed. So the first part of your digital transformation is thinking about what can you move online that are your systems, processes, and everything you currently store on your computer. Now, back in the day when I had my finance company, we moved we scanned every single document. We had a big document feeder and a document scanner. One of the very first finance brokerages in New Zealand that scanned everything, stored them electronically on a computer system. The computer system was still in our office. We had backup drives that we used to give to the staff to take home every night and to rotate them. The impact of that, by the way, was that we freed up 4 offices of filing cabinets, which means that we could park more brokers' bodies in there, which meant that we made more money. We also saved time in that, we had documents at our fingertips that we could then send off to the banks, and the banks wouldn't accept our emailed proposals or sort of loan applications until we said, that's fine, we will just go to the next bank. So it was National Bank. We said, we'll take it to Westpac then. And so they very quickly accepted it, and that became the norm. So previous to that, they were receiving faxed applications, which were a pain in in the neck, because fax machines used to get stuck and not all the information got through. So that's an example, an early example of a digital transformation. Today, there is no reason why you should store anything on your computer, apart from issues of privacy and whether you think so Microsoft and Google are snooping what you're doing, but ideally you can have everything off your computer. So the first steps to take is to ensure that you have a G Suite, or I think Google Workspace account, or an Office 365 account, or using sort of something like Dropbox. And the reason for that is that all of your emails, your documents, are all stored on a server that is not yours and is not on your computer. So if you lost your computer, you can just log into someone else's computer and you have that up and running. Had a good example of that the other day. I was at a networking meeting the other day. The guy that is supposed to take care of all the finances and check everyone in at the front desk there, his computer wouldn't charge. So the charging cable just wasn't working. Gave him mine. He logged into his Google account. Everything was up. And, within 3 minutes, he was back in business again. Yeah. So that's one of the advantages you've got. Now, how much does that cost you? Well, for Google, you can do that for $18 a month. So ridiculous, really. When you think about, I used to run servers. It used to cost me $5,000 a server to buy. These days, you've got access to the very same, something is even better, more powerful and faster for $18 a month. Same with Microsoft as well too. So if you're in business, there's no reason why you wouldn't use tools like that. One, for convenience. Two, because it protects you and your business if something happens to your laptop. And number three, if we talk about cybersecurity as well, since we've got a cybersecurity specialist here, how many people here have had their machine hacked? They've had a virus on their computer, and it's taken a while to get it back to normal state, or they've lost information. Yep.
Yeah, we had the Locutus virus a few years ago. Those who remember that. My daughter was sitting on the computer looking at the Dropbox, going off on, and as soon as we figured out what it was, we pulled the plug, but we lost 100,000 files.
Yep. So that's the risk.
Yeah, and that was 5 minutes.
5 minutes. There you go. So by having everything stored on that was on Dropbox, but on your computer via Dropbox, is that right?
Yeah. See, what happened was the Locutus is not an actual script. It came in and sat in your address bar of Google or whatever.
Your browser.
And as soon as you started typing, it went in and started attacking the oldest files in the system, and then working its way up. So in a way, it got rid of, as I say, about 100,000 files, and it had all this .locutus on the end of it, and they're all numbers, alphanumerics in the beginning of it. And they wanted sort of $500,000 or something to let us have all the files back.
Yep.
We basically told them to shove it because it was all sitting on a cloud server. Because we've got, I think I've mentioned it, we've actually got triple backup for our stuff. Like, we use cloud servers. We have non-attached hard drives, that don't sit on the web anywhere.
Yep.
And then we've got the server. The server I've got at home has got 400 terabytes in it.
So you touched on a really, really important thing here, is that malware in the form of crypto malware, where it encrypts your hard drive, where people then, or the hackers come in and ask you for Bitcoin in order to release all that information. If you've got it stored on your computer, you're in trouble. So if you've got it stored in somewhere like Office 365 or Google Workspace, you've got another layer of protection against losing your data. The other thing I would say is John is absolutely right in the sense that you should have other forms of backup as well. So one of the apps that I use is Backblaze. I better type that in. So it's backblaze.com. And that is a backup tool which is connected to all of my computers. So at any time, any changes are made, it's backing up all the documents to a totally separate repository. So something happened to Google. Let's say Google went offline. That's happened before, it happened last year. They went offline.
Yeah.
So if that happens, you've got another backup. And what that company will do is they will send a physical hard drive in the courier. They guarantee, I think, a day or 2-day delivery to then restore all your systems. So you've got that sort of level of backup as well too. So you need to have sort of three, at least 3 sources of backing up or storage repositories. So Google Drive, Backblaze, and I've also got a hard drive as well, which it backs up to as well.
Yeah, well, we do a backup, as you must realize, Nick, we do it daily at 4 o'clock onto the server, and that's backed up. And then I back up onto a couple of spare 4 terabyte hard drives, and then once they're backed up, unplug them. That's it. And put them away. And I've got 4 of them. So it does, Monday, Tuesday,
and you're in the information game, so that's really important. So Victoria, these are cloud-based systems. Yes, they are cloud-based systems. So they're all, except for the hard drives, they're all cloud-based systems. So Office 365. When we're talking about Office 365, we're not talking about the Home Office edition. We're talking about the Business edition. So the Business edition is hosted on Microsoft servers. So it's just like Google Workspace. So that's the first step that you can take towards a digital transformation, is just where you store your information. The next one is thinking about where you run your business from. So can you run it from any machine?
Yep.
So I was talking to a lady today, and she runs her business from one of these. So she runs her entire business from an iPhone. Amazing, really, isn't it? That you can run a business from a mobile device like that. I know that all of my stuff is because it's all on the cloud, it's all accessible by this device here. And fiddly though it was, I happened to be down at the beach one day. Someone's website crashed. They had a problem with a code, and I was able to get in and fix their code on an iPhone. Took about sort of 15 minutes to do it, but the fact of the matter was I was still in business, even though I was not in business. Probably shouldn't have done it while I was at the beach. I should have just told them to go away and wait until I got home. But that was sort of important for that customer there. All right, so the first thing is your first thing in digital transformation, make sure that everything's in the cloud, so you can wipe your computer and you can be in business in 60 minutes or less from another machine, ideally just from logging onto another machine. Where the time comes in for you to get back into business fully is if you've got a new machine, or if you wipe your machine, sometimes you need to download the apps from, say, the Mac App Store or the Google App Store, or you may have sort of other apps that you need to reinstall into your computer to make that quicker and easier. But there is a solution to that as well too. So in addition to things like Google Workspace, Office 365 and Dropbox, more and more stuff is online. So if you think about the apps that you use, Photoshop, which is for creating graphics and that sort of thing, used to be something that was on your computer. They took theirs online, but we've got apps like Canva. Now, how much is Canva to use these days? It's free. They have got a pro plan, but it's basically free. So you don't need to pay for something like an Adobe account. So, so you can get all of your graphics done and really professionally well done on Canva. CRM, so never store your CRM in a Excel spreadsheet on your computer. Ideally you should have it in a CRM program, which is something like Infusionsoft, Ontraport, MailChimp, Aweber, Drip, ActiveCampaign. There's lots of those ones there. So a CRM is probably, if I was to say what is the most important tool, that is your most important tool, is a CRM. Now, what is a CRM? It's a place where it's in the old days, it just used to send out emails, bulk emails, and stop them going to spam. These days, it's a way of managing your sales pipeline, your clients and your prospects, and you're able to communicate with them based on how they found you. So the good thing about CRMs today is that if someone, say, comes into your CRM via let's say your contact form on your website, you can tag that in your CRM to say they came in from your contact form or they're an inquiry. If they came in from a lead form on, let's say, Facebook, So, you're running Facebook lead ads. You can connect your Facebook lead ads to your CRM, and so that you know that they came from Facebook and from that particular lead ad. So how good is that? When you are communicating with them, you can communicate with them based on what their interest was. So let's say if you're an auto mechanic, and people are, someone's got a European car, let's say a Mercedes, why would you send them information on servicing for Toyotas if they've got a Mercedes? So the old CRMs, you just send a blanket email out to everybody to say, get your Toyota serviced. But with a CRM, you can send them out an email and say, with their specific make and model of car, and book them in. So that's called sort of personalization. So those that are going to win in the online game are those that are using a CRM that are able to make the experience personal, even though it's in an automated system. Does that make sense? So these days you can even do things in your CRM is, if you've got a standard email message that goes out, it's a standard welcome message for anyone that comes in. And I'm suggesting that probably you should have that as well. Then you can have that message dynamically change based on how they came to you. So let's say you might have a field in there that says, hey, look, glad you found us on Facebook, or glad you found us on our website, or glad you found us at a network meeting. So you can go to that sort of level of personalization. So it's absolutely vital these days to have a good CRM and to use it well. There's obviously some other tools that you can use, like Vimeo, which we talked about, and Zoom. So here we are on Zoom. So this is a digital transformation. We used to run these webinars physically at two venues, one in the Gold Coast, one in Brisbane, and it was a lot of work. But these days, I rock up here at 5:45 Australian time, Australian Eastern time, and at 7:30 when I hit the close button, there's no banners to pack down, there's no food to tidy up, there's no the thing I do miss is the after event chatting, where you just sort of catch up with people. So that was a positive there, but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't need to happen. So it's a time saving thing. In terms of some of these tools as well. So if I give you a wee sort of example about how we use this digital transformation, how many have seen recently on, if you've been following us on LinkedIn or Facebook, don't think it's Instagram, but certainly on TikTok, we have short videos on there now called Cool Online Tools. Anyone seen that yet? No, not yet. Okay, so some of you have. Great. Where do those come from? I can tell you that I don't do extra recordings for it. So those Cool Online Tools that we did at this beginning segment of today, they get cut up. So we upload those into a program called Pictory. So, which was one of the tools we talked about, I think, so 2 or 3 sessions ago. We upload it to Pictory. What Pictory does is it creates a transcription from the audio, and it creates captions on the videos as well automatically too. We can go through and correct the words that it doesn't get right. We can cut out the ums and ahs. But from today's session, we've got 5 online tools we talked about. We've got 5 days worth of video content that we can now, short video content we can now post up to social media. And they have captions on as well. Why are captions important? Because there are lots of people that sit on the toilet watching these things, and and they don't want people outside of their little bathroom there, sort of knowing that they're listening to social media. So the captions there mean that they can read along as they go, and they could be in a workplace or whatever as well too. So so that's that piece of content, and then the text-based content we also can then go and use those for text-based posts. So we've got video posts, we've got text-based posts, and a collection of those we can then turn into blog posts as well too. So that there is we're using Zoom, Pictory, and also scheduling tools on social media. So a scheduling tool is something like Later, or you can use Buffer or Hootsuite, or one of those tools there, or Airtable is good too. And so just load them all up at the end of, in one session, and it will sort of drip feed them out into social media. And you can actually schedule the posts in, say, something like Facebook as well too. So this content here has just created many hours of additional content. The other thing we do with it too is Facebook Lives. So I do a Facebook Live every Tuesday. Download that. That goes up to Otter. Otter.ai is a transcription tool, and that can then give us the transcript of it to then turn it into a blog post. So when you just need to tidy it up, edit it, turn it into a blog post. And so again, creating the content once, repurposing it again. So that there is part of a digital transformation. So you don't have to recreate stuff and spend a lot of time in this digital world. You can actually save time just by repurposing things. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can I just ask something, Nick, please? I'm sorry to interrupt. I've got some nursing videos I did a couple of years ago, right?
Yep.
They're basically okay, but the text is no good. So I was going to use OBS Project to pull the soundtrack off. Now, in the back of my mind, I can get that OBS and then feed it through, say, Dragon.
Yep.
And turn the video, or turn the text, the speech automatically into text, so I can redo it.
You could do that in something like Dragon. I'm not familiar enough with sort of Dragon these days. I remember what it was back then, but you could also just drag your video up into a program like Otter.ai. You just drag and drop it in there. It'll do the same job.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of medical terminology in it, which is why I use Dragon.
Okay.
Because of it's got to be spelt properly for a start, so people can understand it. So would Otter handle the medical technology?
Yes, it can. You can load up your sort of terminology, and it can learn that sort of terminology. So you still teach it, and but yes, it will do that as well too.
Yeah, because the one thing I like about the OBS is it's bloody free.
Exactly. Yep. Nothing wrong with free tools. I'm a big believer in some of these free ones.
No, a bloke from Jamaica told me about it. So,
all right. So step number 2. So that was step number 1, which is just getting everything into the cloud. And I've just given you an example about some of the tools that we use here to help with digitizing or getting online. The next one is number 2 is systemizing. So really, really, really important, systems and processes. I am absolutely shocking and terrible at this, which is why I've got a process to help me run my processes. So I'm going to give you the easiest way to create a system and process, which takes you no longer than 5 minutes, and you can run your whole business like this. So and this is all about coming into the next step. So absolutely vital. So it might be just admin and finance that you're using this for, or and that's often where people start. But then you can start to expand it out to so product delivery and service delivery as well too. And we'll talk about how that works. So so it should take you no longer than 5 minutes to record and document a system. So the way it works is that you do a screen recording, lots of free tools out there. So a tool like Loom. So Loom is a free, they've got a paid one too, cloud-based tool. In fact, you could probably use Zoom. You can use Zoom to do this as well too. So, and these ones here just happen to be computer-based systems. So let's say you've got an admin task that involves you doing something with Excel or a piece of software or whatever. Just record it. And as you're recording, talk through the steps. So just talk as if you're talking to someone else. So once you finish that recording, and you're only recording a 5-minute system. So if it takes you an hour to do something, you're cutting it up into 5-minute segments. And there's a reason to do it, and that's for when someone else comes along behind you and repeats the system. You've got it in small chunk steps. So record it, talk over it, and then use an app like Otter.ai. Upload the video to Otter.ai. It will transcribe it. That screen recording and transcription. Then the next thing to do is then edit that transcription and turn it into a series of numbered steps. So, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, all the way through until you finish that process. Grab some screenshots. Now, the best way to grab your screenshots, you can do it as you go along, but the video that you've recorded, you can just grab a still screen out of the video that you've recorded. And again, you know, you can use screen capture software for that, like if you've got a Mac computer, they have inbuilt screen capture software. But again, you know, Loom, you can do that as well too. So, and then you can annotate the screenshot. So I will annotate it, which means I put arrows where things go. I number the steps in there and number them so that they fit the steps that are in the process that has been written out. Then you give that document, the video, the screenshots, and the step document, give it to someone else to do your task. Best place to do it, if you don't have a staff member or people that you're working with, send it off to Fiverr. Get someone at Fiverr to run it through for you. It'll cost you $5 or $10 to do it, and see whether they can run that process through. They will undoubtedly come back with questions and things that are not clear. That's what you use to refine your process. So then you just refine that process, and then you delegate that task out to someone else in your business or to an outsourcer or a virtual assistant. So, so you do that with your systems and processes. Now, you only need to do step 1. You only need to do that. So you might do the first one, all of them, but you only need to do step 1. Because what you can then do is that if you record your process on how you make a process with these 7 steps, then you can give that, so you can record that and sort of run it all through to the end. Then you record your next 5-minute system. You only do the screen recording. Then you give it to someone with your original recording about how to create a system and process, the steps, and ask them to follow that to create your next system and process. So they will then go and upload it to Otter, get it transcribed. They will then create all the steps. They'll do the annotated screenshots. They'll send it back to you. Then you can then send it to someone else to check, or you can do the task yourself to refine it and get clarity before you delegate it out. So, so once you've done that, you can just do a whole lot of screen recordings of all of your steps. And what I did was to all the screen recordings would drop into a Google Drive folder. And once I had about 20 there, I used to get then I would give that to someone to then follow through steps through 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2, 3, and 4, which gave us the systems and processes. So that's the easiest, simplest way to do it. And the reason why that's important is the next step, which is all about getting someone else to do these tasks. Now, you don't need to do everything in your business. And part of being getting online is that you've now got access to a whole lot of resources that you don't need to do these things yourself. So anyone that's doing your, if you're doing your books, you're crazy. If you are doing things like like videos, if you're editing your own videos, you're nuts. If you are sort of doing some of those tasks that someone else can do better than you, quicker than you, that really is not your gift or your skill set, you're better off to get someone else to do it. So I know for me, I will do the Facebook Lives because no one can do me better than I can do me. So, so that's my sort of zone of genius there. But everything after that Facebook Live, or everything after, say, this session tonight, I have nothing to do with. So that's all handled by my team with a sort of set of systems and processes. And you'll see 2 of my team on here today. So wave to JM and Lorena. They make all this stuff happen. So I've got the easy job. I just turn up and do this. They do all the hard work, so before and after that. So, but the reason why we can do that is that we've got these 5-minute systems and procedures, and I've spent the time, and we've spent the time doing it. Now, I don't have to do all that. They will also create systems and procedures as well too for their areas in business. I don't know everything they do, but they know, and they record it. So there's a number of places where you can get your team. You can get virtual assistants. So I love virtual assistants, particularly in the Philippines. You can get some highly skilled, dedicated, loyal people for a fraction of the cost of what you can hire over here. But for them, it's more money than they can make, often as a teacher, nurse, and architect. So isn't that crazy? They go to university to get a degree, and yet they make more money as a virtual assistant, where for us, it's costing us a fraction of what we pay someone locally. So rule of thumb, you can, if you're paying someone locally here, you can get 5 virtual assistants, 4 to 5 virtual assistants for that same cost. Now, I know some people say, well, look, that's taking Aussie and New Zealand jobs away. But the reality is if you're in business and you're starting up, or you don't have the resources to hire anyone, you're never going to be able to hire them anyway. The best way to get to be able to hire someone locally is to hire a virtual assistant and a team of virtual assistants to start to take some of the tasks off you that you don't need to do, that are not in your zone of genius, so that you've got a system that creates and snowballs, so that when you do need to hire, you've got enough revenue coming into the business to enable you to hire someone over here, which might be an operations person or a customer service person over here. I mean, even your customer service people, they don't have to be here either. They can be in the Philippines. Believe it or not, in the Philippines, they speak English, educated in English as well, and English is really good. They do get mucked up a bit with some of our crazy expressions over sort of in Australia and New Zealand. Give you an example there is that one day, and I know that JM and Lorena are going to laugh about this, I just jotted a note in Slack, which is one of the apps that I use, said something like, we'll do this in the Arvo. So, and that word Arvo, I think, what's this word? I've never come across this word Arvo. And they went off searching for it. They couldn't find any reference to it. In fact, the only reference they could find to Arvo online when they Googled it was a green thing with a pip in it. Yeah. So an avocado. So what is this guy talking about? What, we'll do it in the avocado. Is this some sort of kinky sex game that he plays in the afternoon or whatever? But no. So so you do get these funny sort of things that happen. And I know that so Lorena has got a dictionary of Nickisms. She's been with me for about 8 years. So we've been working together for 8 years. And she's got a dictionary of expressions that I say. So one, so she understands when I'm talking a foreign language, and 2, so she can write. When she's creating copy and text for me, she's able to write using some of the terms and expressions that I use. So, and so a lot of the emails, particularly a lot of the marketing for this event, gets done by Lorena and JM. They do all the images, all the marketing, all the social media for us. I turn up and do a Facebook Live and rock up tonight. So I got the easy job. But again, that all comes down to systems and processes. So that's really about your digital transformation. It's probably the worst thing that a lot of creative people get stuck with, is doing it. But I will guarantee you it will change your business life if you do it. So that is part of your move online. And now what I want you to think about doing is to start intentionally moving online. First thing you can do is stop printing paper. So I don't have a printer. So stop printing paper. So there's no reason why you need to print a lot of things these days. Sometimes we do, but there's a lot of needless stuff that just gets printed. If you can store it in Google Drive, Microsoft Office, you can scan things these days, receipts and things, scan those with a receipt scanner, throw it away. You don't need a shoebox for these sort of things anymore. And obviously you've got Zoom for meetings, and create a courses and memberships area on your website. I'm going to talk about some examples and case studies now. So here is some businesses who didn't think they could go online that are now online today. So I'll talk about a couple of these in the Facebook Live that I did today. So worth going back to have a look at that. I won't go through all of those ones today, but I'll go through a couple of examples here. So one of them is a general insurance broker. And some of you may be in a service-based business and thinking you actually physically need to go and meet people in order to conduct business. Well, you don't. It's great to do it, but you often don't need to. So this general insurance broker said that he needed to go into commercial premises to view it, have a look at the plant and equipment, and really to walk around, talk to the business owner to work out what the risk is, to make some recommendations about the insurance policy. So I could never do that online. Guess what the insurance company did? They have got a phone app now where they get the a business owner to walk around, film everything in their premises, take sort of shots of things like serial numbers and whatever on equipment, machinery, all that sort of stuff. And the general insurance broker doesn't have to turn up to the premises. Another example was, this is a recent one, property management. We have, I've just seen a property management company who do their, and they're pretty good with their regular inspections. They do 3 monthly inspections. They physically come around, check the property, take photos, all that sort of thing. What they've done now is they send the tenant a link to go and do the property inspection themselves. So the tenant now walks around and takes the photos, takes the videos, and does all of the work that the property manager had to drive out to do. And when they hit, submit or send, it gets filed immediately into the file of the property of the tenant and the property owner. So whereas before what used to happen is they had to download the photos from their camera and then sort of upload it to the various files and whatever. So the biggest thing that they've saved now is they have saved a whole lot of time. There's all that driving time they've saved. And there's all of that time, that administrative time they've saved, and so they're able to deploy that doing other things like finding other properties to manage or sort of dealing with other sort of more important issues. Now, is it going to be 100% right? Probably not. There's probably going to be some mistakes. There's probably going to be some dishonest people out there. They're going to hide some of the things there. So you just pick out the ones that look a bit dodgy. You go and do a physical inspection, but you might be doing 1 in 10 as opposed to doing 10 out of 10. So think about your business. What are you currently doing in your business that you're doing, turning up physically, or you're doing things which involve your time? What are some things there that you could automate or do sort of digitally? So what I encourage you to do there is to make a list of all the things that you do in a day. Make this list for at least 2 weeks. So this is where you do need a piece of paper, and I suggest doing it on a piece of paper, or if you've got a phone or something, a notepad, but I just do it on a piece of paper on my desk sitting beside me, so I know I'm going to do it. I don't have to open another app, and you'll be surprised what you can do. And then you can start to tick off, what are some things that I can start to digitize, to outsource, to use another system or process, or is there an app or a tool that could handle this for me? So I'd be really interested to get some feedback from you after a couple of weeks when you start to do this, and to sort of see what you think you can do to take your processes online. Another example here too is I was at a party on Saturday. It was a birthday party, and it was out in Logan. And just next door, we had this drone. So a drone sort of came down out of the sky, and on the bottom of the drone was a pulley and a cable, and there was food hanging off the bottom of it. Takeaway food, and it hovered over the house. It dropped the food down the back door, unhooked it, and took off. And then it actually went and got another one. So it was actually two lots of food that it bought. So his and hers, or whatever it was. This was a company called Wings. So Wings is a drone company for drone deliveries. You can you no longer have to go to Bunnings to do shopping. I love Bunnings. But you can order up a drone to go and pick up what you bought online at somewhere like Bunnings, and it'll do food, and you can do packages, all sorts of things. It's actually a Google project, and there are 2 places in Australia that are trialing at the moment, Canberra, and would you believe, Logan. So and we just happened to be there when it was happening. So there you go. There's something that has been taken online. So you can shop online, and you can order your own delivery so that it gets to you within 30 minutes of your shopping. Isn't that incredible? So there's a process of being able to take things online. So again, think about your customer's experience. What can you do in terms of your customer's experience to sort of get some of this online stuff happening? What about banks? Remember the days when you had to walk into a bank and to open an account? Well, you don't need to do it. I've opened up a bank account in the US and didn't have to be present. I did it from here. So these days, you don't even need to be present to do these things. So how do they stop all of the fraud and potential issues there? Well, they've got tools online that help them to do that. I signed a document. I had to open up a I get mail in the US, had to open up an account over there to get mail. In order for someone else to open your mail, they scan it for me and send it to me as a scanned document. I had to get a document notarized. Now, the notaries live in America. So I got my document notarized online. So a video feed in, we were seeing each other face to face, had to hold up a utility account, well, my mobile phone accounts. They did some other things online for verification, all happened online. So who'd have thought you could sort of have someone verify your identity on the other side of the world? She was in Virginia, I was over here in Mount Tamborine, and you can do business globally. So you really can do business globally with the tools that are available for you out there now. All right, so the other one too is if you're into coaching and events. A lot of that's gone online now. A fitness studio, like I remember yoga studio that we worked with. And this is where you get some interesting additions to products that can happen. So first of all, she said, I couldn't do this online. I need to be there physically with people to run the yoga sessions. So then she couldn't because there was lockdown. No one was allowed to go into her studio. She wasn't allowed to be there. And so she was forced onto Zoom. So she did her yoga sessions on Zoom. Her comment was, well, it was a bit weird, but it wasn't too bad. So if she had the screen up, she could see everyone could see her. But here's the thing that really, really worked is that she had some people that couldn't turn up to the yoga session said, did you record that? Because I'd like to do it. And Zoom records it. So she said, yes, I did. She sent them the link. And so she was able to provide them a class at another time, which is at their convenience, which meant that you're able to serve and offer your services to more people based on how convenient it is to them rather than convenience to you. The other byproduct is that she was able to get people to her studio virtually from wider a field than just 40 kilometers. So, people would travel 40 kilometers to get there. So she was able to have people from Brisbane. I think she had someone from New Zealand and other parts of the country that her local customers had referred. So this lady's really good. Come along to a yoga class, they joined online. And guess what? They paid too. She was worried they wouldn't pay because it was on Zoom. They paid, they came along, they got the experience. So, she was able to do business. She even did business in Italy. So she had an Italian yoga instructor who spoke fluent Italian, obviously, because he was Italian. And so they were able to present their classes over in Italy. Italy just happened to be in that massive lockdown at the time. So there was a whole new revenue stream. A little yoga studio on the Gold Coast was now a global yoga studio. But the real value in it was that because Zoom recorded everything, she now could create a membership site, a subscription membership site with her yoga classes where people could pay a monthly subscription and have yoga on demand. So they could do yoga at midnight if they wanted. They could do it at 7 o'clock in the morning. They didn't have to wait till the yoga class was scheduled and for that time. They could do it at any time they liked. And so now she had an ongoing subscription revenue, which she didn't have to turn up for. She used to have to turn up for the classes. Now she doesn't have to turn up for the classes because people can order up their own classes at their own leisure. Now she does still teach classes, but she's got an ongoing stream of revenue coming through, which will quickly surpass what she was earning, turning up in person. So how cool is that? So again, if you think about your business, how could you use the power of just something as simple as Zoom? What are the possibilities that extend outside of that? It's not about just delivering things on Zoom, but it's about what are the other possibilities outside of that there that will appear and help you to create new revenue streams, new products, new services as a spin-off for it. And it may, in fact, surpass what your income is doing your main thing. But you will never know what that is unless you take this step into becoming a digital business. So the lady that was a yoga teacher never even dreamed she'd have a membership program because she couldn't really see that and just really didn't enter into her realm. And she didn't even think about it when she was recording. It was only after the fact, and she had about 20 odd videos making the suggestion, she could see, wow, we've got a resource here. Yeah, Lachlan, you just need to unmute.
Sorry,
there we go.
I've just got to go. That's all. Just to say, hey, look, great session. I especially like the systemization side of things. I definitely will use that. I've outsourced quite a bit, and I found it amazing.
Excellent.
In terms of resource, I want to use it for my new stuff. So I've just got to go. I just sent you a note. So
okay. Sweet. That's all good as gold. We'll catch you again. Thanks, Lachlan.
All right, thanks.
All right, so we're almost there anyway. So really your job is, why digital transformation? Obviously another stream of income, saves you time in terms of, even if it's just basic systems and processes, it can just save you a ton of time. But the real sort of deal to it all is really getting your time back. So your job now is to really think about, I would encourage you to write down all of the things you do for at least a 2-week period, everything you do. I think they used to call them time and motion studies, but really valuable and really helpful. Then start to systemize them. So pick sort of tasks off and just create those little 5-minute systems. Just record the videos. Do nothing else. Just record the videos. Get other people to do the other part. Use Fiverr. And then think about your delivery, your customer sort of delivery experience. If you can record it, great. Or what are some things that you can do with that, or parts of it that you can then take online. So, and out of that there, the most important thing is implementation. I would hate for you to leave today and say there's some great ideas in here and do nothing. Because I see that happen all the time. What I would like to see is even if you just take one thing, start down the process. I know some of you are quite far down that road there of being an online business, or at least having some form of digital transformation with some parts of it. But do something, because I guarantee when you start to implement some of this, you will discover a whole lot more in terms of possibilities that you didn't even think existed. All right, so there you go. That is today's whistle stop tour on a digital transformation. I can't tell you what how powerful the journey can be once you get into it. I'm 100% online. Sometimes I've just got to feel myself to make sure I'm not made up of pixels. But my business is 100% online, and I have to force myself, well, I don't actually have to force myself really hard to go out to business networking meetings. So I actually meet physical people and go to birthday parties. But the great thing is that I'm way more productive, save a lot more time, make a lot more money doing this stuff online than I ever could, having a physical offline business. All right, well, that's our session today. Any questions, comments, or anything, any last requests?
Hi, Nick, it's Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Would I be able to get you to send me a copy of the chat, please? Because I can't see where to physically copy it, being vision impaired. Oh,
okay. Yep, good as gold. I'll grab a copy of it and I will shoot it through to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Actually, what you might need to do, I know I'll probably have your email because you're registered here. So, no, good as gold. All right. Any other comments, questions, or last requests?
Yeah, Nick, hi, it's David here. Just a quick one on the when you touched on CRMs there.
Yep.
I've got someone from HubSpot who's been contacting me a bit
yes.
about their CRM system. You got any thoughts? Are you familiar with that one?
I'm very familiar with it. Yes, and I do have some thoughts on it too.
Any good?
It's very good. It's also very expensive. So HubSpot's business model, they have a very, very good tool. They're a market leader in it all. It really is an enterprise tool. It's free for small business to get into it. But if you really want access to the tools that are going to drive and be powerful for your business, you end up paying and paying and paying for it to get the modules. If you don't have a CRM and you're starting out, it's a great place to start out with that free one. But I would be really recommending that you might want to look at something that you're going to be using a bit more in the long term, something like Drip, ActiveCampaign, something like that there, that is going to be sort of more helpful for your business without having to pay for all of the additional extras.
Okay, sure. What was that one? Drip, Active?
Drip, so drip.com, that's my favorite one. It's the most powerful one, most cost-effective one, and insane amount of personalization. I love it. But you've also got ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, Ontraport, and Fusionsoft. They're really good too, but they're really quite pricey as well too. And most businesses don't need everything that's in that. But look, you can't go wrong if you start with something like Drip, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, or Aweber. You know, they're good places to start.
Cool. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
All right. And ConvertKit is another one too. There you go. Okay. Oh, Agile. Yeah, thanks, Peter. Yeah, I should say Agile. That's free. So definitely, that's a really good one to try. And I'd recommend that over HubSpot if you're looking for a free CRM to start with. It's got lots of capability.
So just like agile.com or something? Or?
I'll say again.
Is that just agile.com or something like that?
Yeah, be agile.com. If you just search for Agile CRM, you'll find it.
Check it out. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Little tip when using Fiverr. Use someone close to home and not in Europe. The time difference is really annoying. Absolutely. Excellent. Yeah, actually, I've used someone in Fiverr to do a lot of data entry for business. Like when I've been to expos and trade shows and got a whole lot of business cards and lead slips, just scan them all, give it to someone on Fiverr. He was in Pakistan, I think. He typed them up, had them back to me within 24 hours. And that was about 1,000 odd slips. So you can get some really good stuff. And I think that cost me about $20. So, you know, you can get stuff quite affordable on that site. All right. Any other questions, or are we also ready to go off and hit Netflix? All right. Well, this session here will be up on YouTube tomorrow. So I'll be tomorrow afternoon. So if you want to watch it again or pick it, or you missed anything, or also want some of these links, then you can certainly go to the Smash Go YouTube channel. Go there now and subscribe. The link is in chat. And just if you hit the little bell beside the subscribe button, it means you'll get a notification in your browser when the videos are uploaded there. We'll be here again on September the 7th, which is Tuesday again next week. And look forward to seeing you then. So thanks for being out here and joining me tonight. And I look forward to seeing some of you being online a whole lot more.
Awesome, Nick. Well done.
All right. Have a great night.